Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Greater Birmingham Chamber's latest Q&A. My name is Charles Brandt. I'm a Senior Group Relationship Manager at the Greater Birmingham Chambers. And I'm here today with Tim Thompson, who's Head of Sales, UK, Ireland, Nordics and Benelux from Denso Wave. Hi there, Tim.
Fine, how you doing?
Whereabouts are you joining us from today? Not one of the locations mentioned there, or are we in the UK
No, we're in the UK today, not one of those luxurious places overseas. Haven't done too much travelling really since the whole sort of COVID thing. So I'm back in the UK at the minute, although I do have a trip planned to go into the Nordics in about 3 weeks' time. So I've been an old good blighty.
Fantastic. So it's a real international business that we're talking about here, and that might be something that we come back to in a second. But perhaps if we start with a bit of an introduction to Denso Wave, and over to you for that.
Yeah. So Denso Wave is part of Denso Corporation. Denso Corporation is an automotive part manufacturer whose parent company is Toyota. So you can see there's a connection between Denso, Toyota, car parts, etc. But as a business, Denso Wave Europe provides and manufactures barcode and RFID equipment, also IoT platform solutions, robots, and we work in various marketplaces. So sort of retail, industry, manufacturing, logistics, healthcare. There isn't really an area that we don't sort of move in. Some of the people who are tuning in may not know that Denso invented the QR code back in 1994. This is a free iOS standard that we put out to the market back then, and it's still in use today. We have written a number of variations of this code. One of those is SQRC, which is a secure QR code, which basically is an encryption format, so it stops people from seeing the hidden data. And then we also do another one called frame QR. So frame is basically, as it says, it's a QR code in the form of a frame, which allows companies to put the details in the middle, or it could be a hologram, or it could be other security measures, basically. And we work with different partners on innovative solutions, and there are several that we're working on currently.
Fantastic. So was it yourself that was involved in that QR code formation, or?
Not originally. I mean, obviously there was some clever people who designed that QR code. It was originally designed for Toyota to replace Kanban. Kanban is sort of several 1D codes, sort of 7 or 8 codes on the side of a stillage, and rather than scanning 7, 8 codes, so you scan one code after another, the idea was to take those codes and wrap it in one code, and hence they came up with the quick response code, which is QR. That's what it stands for, and that's how it was developed. And over a period of 27 years now, we have developed that standardized code, which we gave to the world free of charge. We're now developing codes that are a little bit more secure, have different properties, and in fact, I'll touch on that a little bit more a little bit later.
Brilliant. I think we're on the topic of kind of digital technologies and innovation, and as we in the region kind of bounce back from the effects of the global pandemic, GVA's actually sort of productivity per head has always been a bit of an issue here in the Midlands. So just touching on this technology, how can Denso Wave kind of help support businesses improve productivity through innovation in technology and the technology that you develop specifically?
Well, Denso Wave produce identification systems for assets, products, parts. We work with a variety of partners, not just in the UK and in Europe, but around the world, using barcodes, RFID, and logistics and retail. The idea is that we give better visibility, stock accuracy. This leads to increased sales and reduced shrinkage. In the case of some of the sort of high street retailers and online retailers, there's quite a few that have endorsed those systems either through us or through competitors. It's very much a growth market with RFID at the moment, partly because the pandemic has highlighted things that people don't want to handle. and we can do accurate stock counts without actually touching the stock. So it's, it's quite innovative in that respect. Denso also produces an IoT platform, which are used in factories in the UK and around the world. In fact, one of our factories is based at Telford, and they use the same system. This utilizes easy configuration for assembly lines. It has real-time dashboards and preventative maintenance, which obviously helps companies to manufacture efficiently and effectively. Our manufacturing system is a seamless integration. It works with legacy and new devices on the production line and has no programming integration. What I mean by that is you don't have to write specific programs. It's already covered within the application. This is used in Denso Toyota manufacturing around the world in 140 factories. And it's also used in a number of other companies that have taken that particular platform from us. This is also linked to a global cloud, which can give us views and controls of what the application is doing and how basically we can make it better for our users and our global users. We also manufacture robots and vision systems, which are used in manufacturing, healthcare and pharmaceuticals and education, I might point out. The applications include pick and place and product assembly, and all of these work in harmony with our own IoT platform and other IoT platforms. One of our partners recently secured a very large contract to provide secure QR codes, which is a very interesting area at the moment. So this company called vSite Pass are using secure QR codes for site management on building sites. So essentially they do a pre-check, which is done via a passport or driving license. It's then checked. Once it's verified, it comes back, they do a selfie, that produces a facial recognition, a very secure facial recognition QR code, which they then can also check the background of that tradesperson. Things like the City and Guilds qualifications are attached to that. So what you get is an overall view of somebody who's coming to work on your site. You know who they are, you know that they've been security checked. You also know that their qualifications are true, because one of the issues that some of these building sites have had are guys coming on saying that they qualified and they're not. A building falls down and obviously there's legal issues around that. This kind of system, or the similar kind of system, is also used in hospitality, in sporting events, etc. And this company that has written this, and we've just secured, as I say, or about to secure a very large contract, is also using this for payments. So quite an exciting time on the QR front. Basically it's a very interesting area for us, and I think it will become even bigger than it is now.
Fantastic. It sounds like there's a multitude of different ways that the technologies that you're developing can be rolled out and utilized. And I guess the next question would be, have you got any kind of more case studies than you've already touched on? Any case studies of where there's been implementation and how that's helped businesses?
I think the one of the biggest ones is the IoT platform, which is called Orion. As I said before, this is used in 120 factories, and it's also used in another 100 independent factories. So companies either within group or outside of Denso Group. This particular application was written 20 years ago and has been constantly developed over that period. So it's very secure, very stable. And one of the great things they've managed to do is to keep it current. So from the point of view that everything within that is, keeps up with today's market. So it's quite a very interesting area. We also have worked in RFID with the likes of Marks and Spencer's through one of our partners. A lot of people might know that RFID was endorsed by Marks and Spencer's in the very early days of RFID, and they've continued to use it to utilize their stock. And the efficiencies that it brings, if I can sort of give you an example, most retailers probably have a stock accuracy of between 60 to 70%. What RFID does is it brings that stock accuracy up between 95 and 99%. So you can see the values of using RFID, and specifically with the likes of Marks and Spencer's who use these kind of systems. We certainly work with a company that does all their stock takes, and they use RFID to do the stock takes, and the efficiencies are massive in comparison to doing a manual stock take. So manual stock takes in a store would take something like 60 man hours to do with traditional barcoding. It takes one person 2 hours with RFID. So you can see there are massive efficiencies there.
Fantastic. And I think you and I have spoken previously about the way in which the kind of ticketing solutions can be utilized as well. Have you got any kind of examples there?
Yeah, I mean, we are the ticketing solutions in particular, and again through VSite Pass, the guys have done this application called MatchFit, and what's really clever about it is a number of things. First of all, it reduces the issue around ticket touting. And what I mean by that is it stops ticket touts, because the only person that can buy a ticket is in the application is the person who's signed up to that application. You can buy tickets for other people, but they also have to have the application. The application is based around a facial recognition QR code, which is very secure. Within that application now, we can do payments. You can buy a ticket for a concert, for a football match. With football in particular, what's quite smart about it is that if you're on a banned list, when you sign up to this, it automatically does a check. So, you know, if you've got somebody who's trying to sort of go through the application, it'll flag up and say, sorry, but you're on a banned list, and yeah, you can't sign up for a ticket or a season ticket in this case. So there are like several applications out there. I mean, the application that I was talking about specifically is to do with payments. The project that we've won will roll out initially in central Germany, and then that will become sort of more sort of centralized across Europe and UK involved in that. So we're expecting some massive business over the next sort of 4 or 5 years, and as this develops, it will kind of replace, or we hope it will replace, what is chip and pin. The difference between the chip and pin and the QR codes is that the QR codes, because it's facial recognition, is based around your face and can't be copied. Whereas a chip and pin, people can copy the chip, they can steal the pin, and therefore, you know, if you've got a card or you find somebody's card and you go to use it, you know, you can empty somebody's account to the tune of about £300 before somebody knows that your card's missing. With the facial recognition, you would need your face to be able to spend it. So there is, you know, essentially the QR code is the facial biometric within the code and your face. And if you can't match the two at the spending point, it's useless. So, you know, and as I say, if I pick your card up and try to use it, I wouldn't be able to use it because it'd be looking for your facial recognition. So it's a very secure application.
Great. No, thank you, Tim. I'm not sure there's too much money left on my side, so I'm not sure that one lasts too long. But no, I mean, obviously there are many sports clubs that are part of the chamber. So if any of them are tuning into this, please do feel free to reach out to Tim and Denso. Perhaps we can get your contact details shared as well after this.
Absolutely.
I guess as a final point, there's a huge focus in government, you know, both nationally and regionally, on businesses becoming more sustainable. We've just had COP26, as we know, and there was lots of outcomes from that. I just wondered if you could just finally touch on how you feel that the technologies could assist in that transition to support businesses becoming a bit greener and a bit more environmentally friendly.
I guess as a corporation, Denso has always strived to provide sort of technologies to prevent global warming, I should say, not warning. Basically, we have a big green footprint as a business. So some of the industries that we work in and around, so for instance, RFID, we've looked to sort of remove paper labels that are stuck on containers and use a hard tag that's there, so that the tag remains as a solid tag that can be rewritten. So every time you use it, If it's 1 today, it's 2 tomorrow, 3 the day after, and so on. So you can rewrite the tag. Then that obviously has the paper element of using paper. If you look at the likes of the VSite Pass application, their ticketing is all around an app used on your phone. So again, you know, the use for paper or not to use paper, things like receipts are obviously developed through that app. And the facial recognition is obviously, you know, all done through the application. Orin is a monitoring, or I say Orion stroke Orin. The Japanese call it Orion, we call it Orin. It's the way it's spelt, unfortunately. It comes out like that. But this particular application has a monitoring system. This is the IoT platform, which can optimize for energy use in factories and buildings and horticultural, like things like climate control can be attached to it. So I guess as a company, we always are trying to look at, you know, what is green, you know, for the business, what is green for our customers. And it's something as a corporation, which is very close to us. So we try and use sustainable products all the time, and we try to produce sustainable products, even with our own sort of barcode products. If somebody has got a product that's come to end of life, we have a green way of getting rid of that waste. You know, we don't just bin it. It's taken apart, the chips are reused in places where they can. And so we have a whole sort of sustainability program as a corporation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tim. Well, I think that kind of brings us to a close today. So my thanks to Tim for taking the time to join us and provide some useful insight there into Denso Wave and the technologies that they've got available. Any final thoughts from yourself, Tim?
I mean, if anybody in the chamber is interested in talking to us about our products and services, I would be absolutely happy or to come and talk to them, or to put them in touch with a colleague if it's a specific area. At the end of the day, you know, we're here to help. So thanks very much.
No, brilliant. Thanks again, Tim. And I'm sure you'll be seen at chamber events as well soon.
I'm at one this afternoon. So
thanks, Tim. Take care.
Thanks again. Cheers.